It's the Bulls podcast number 63, and today we're covering the Bulls hot and cold streaks, Bulls Celtics analysis, crazy trades, and we've got predictions for the week. It's the Bulls podcast number 63.
Hey, Chicago Bulls fans. It's time for your Bulls podcast. Here are your hosts, Marcus Couch and Wyse Black.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Bulls podcast number 63, coming to you from bullspodcast.com. This is where we bring you the latest news, reviews, rants, rumors, and opinions on the players, coaches, and front office of the Chicago Bulls. My name is Marcus Couch, and there it is, my friend on the other end, Mr. Wyse Black. How you doing, Wyse?
Doing great, man. Ready to rock and roll. Let's do it.
All right, we got a lot in store for this. All right, so we got a lot to talk about. Bulls Celtics after a hot and cold start, 6-10 record. State of the Bulls. We got some crazy trade ideas. We're gonna have a lot of fun this episode. So, where do we begin? Let's talk first about some news. So I want to bring up some news related to me specifically. If you want to get into Bulls stuff, I'll probably go about 2 minutes, 3 minutes in here. We got some stuff that may affect you and may bring you some joy. So starting tomorrow, which is November 23rd, after every Bulls game this season, I'm actually going to be hosting a post-game live call-in stream over at the Windy City Breeze. Joining me will be P.Kidd, who you heard a couple shows back. And Wyse, I hope you can join me anytime that you have the availability. Boy, that stopped quick. So I just want to tell everybody why I'm doing this. I'm not leaving what we're doing here on the Bulls podcast. In fact, I'm only doing it to really strengthen our brand and what it is that Wyse are doing. But Pat, the designer, is a friend, and he just started a day gig. And hey, man, with the economy, I understand having to do that. I work 2 jobs myself. So he does Locked On Bulls. He does his own show. He does a lot of other things. And one of the things that has kind of been missing that he can't do, because he also does Locked On Bulls with Hayes over there, is he's having trouble doing everything that he wants to do. And one of those things is the live call-in show or the post-game show after each game. And he noticed that I happened to be there anyway on his chat during his live call. So he thought I would be pretty good to do that. Why would I say yes to something like that on somebody else's channel when we've actually talked about doing that? Well, the reason is because they've got 15,000 subs already there. So for me, that's a no-brainer to be able to get access to that kind of audience. His live call that he does generates hundreds of live viewers that are already ready and hungry for new content. And that's great. So for us, we're going to be able to promote the Bulls podcast and what it is that we do and send some of those listeners from the Windy City Breeze over here. The Bulls podcast community and the podcaster community is super strong, and we help each other out when needed. And so I'm helping him out. He's helping me out and helping Wyse out in terms of helping to grow our audience. And that's what's going on. So what's your reaction to that, Wyse?
I love it, man. Like you said, we're all one big family in this Bulls podcast community. You know what I mean? So, like you said, man, it's a no-brainer. And I mean, big ups to Pat, man. I definitely understand when it comes to having your, hands all over the place and you just can't juggle everything at once sometimes. So I definitely understand where he's coming from, but definitely big.
And I want to say personally, for me, it has been my dream ever since being a kid in Chicago and listening to guys like Chet Kopic on the radio doing sports call-in. I mean, he invented the sports call-in, sports talk format, and he was kind of a mentor of mine in terms of sports. He gave me some encouragement when I was doing live calls for Jones Intercable, doing high school and college sports and things back in the early 90s. And it's been a dream to host kind of a radio call-in style show for a long time, and I can't wait to do this. And we're going to really try and push the envelope in terms of fan interaction and fan call-ins and such. And I even want to get into video and things. So anyway, just wanted to make that clear. Let's get into some Bulls stuff. The Bulls won a game, actually, over the Boston Celtics last night, 121-107, by playing some smooth defense, hitting some really good open shots, and getting contributions from the bench. It takes almost every Bulls player to get a win like this, and this is exactly how they need to do it. DeMar had a game-high 28 points, and Zach was back in form with 22 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 of 10 from the line for a 3-point. The Celtics entered the game with a league-leading 119.1 offensive rating. That number, if they actually could hold it for the entire year, would be the best single-season offensive rating in NBA history. So that's the kind of caliber team that they are right now. Against the Bulls, they could only get a 103.9. So that was considerably less, and the Bulls defenders actually did well despite giving up 19 of 50 3-pointers, 53 pointers. They did prevent fast break opportunities and protected the rim where they needed to. I think the Celtics had this plan of just taking DeMar out of the game, and that's where they failed. One of the biggest ways to kind of tell if a game was a fluke or not is to actually hear from the other side of the fence over there. So I've got an interview that is just a quick clip from Malcolm Brogdon. Let's take a look at that and see what his perspective was of this game.
Came out there ready to play. You know, they're going through some things over there, so I think they're trying to get more locked in. They're trying to win some games. I feel like they think their back's against the wall, so they play with urgency tonight, and I don't think we play with that urgency.
It seemed like the stretch where you guys turned that 19-point deficit into 8 so quickly. It seemed like you were just one run away. But what do you think it led to you guys coming up short in that?
I think we turned the ball over a few times, and that might have killed our momentum. We were getting good shots. We were playing with pace. We were getting stops. But we turned the ball over, and they've got, I think, easy dunks. They weren't even just transition layups. They were dunks, and that killed our momentum, I think.
What does it do at the start of the game? When the threes are off, it seemed like it kind of seeps into the defense even a little bit.
It definitely does. You know, I think we're such a high-level shooting team from the arc. We rely on that, and I think we need more balance, especially if those threes aren't falling. If we're not making shots out there, we got to be able to play inside the arc and still defend for sure. That's one thing that can't slip, regardless of how we're shooting the ball in the offensive end.
Okay. So, Wyse, I know that you were actually at the game last night, which is cool. So I want details, man. Give me the full rundown of your experience, and don't get into the Bulls just yet. But from what you saw out of the Celtics being one of the hottest teams in the league right now, what was your impression of the Celtics?
So I guess what I noticed, like right out of the gate, the Celtics were really relying on the 3-ball a lot. I noticed that they were really trying to shoot the deep ball, and heck, I don't blame them for actually going that route, because the Bulls weren't really defending them well at the 3-point line at all. Their issue was they couldn't knock it down. They just couldn't knock the 3-ball down, and that was really one of the big issues for them last night. Was their game was just completely off from the perimeter shooting.
So are we giving them too much credit in terms of the Bulls defense in this instance, or do you think that their shot was just
honestly speaking? I think that the Celtics shot was really just off, because they were pretty much open a whole. Like, if you go back and you look at that tape from last night's game, the Celtics had quite a few. Like, they had a nice amount of open threes, and they just really couldn't knock them down.
Yeah,
that's what I noticed.
Any standout players other than the usual?
You mean like on the
anybody
Celtics?
impress you on the Celtics? Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily. Jason Tatum, you can tell that he's the star of the team. I mean, he really shines. But outside of that, Marcus Smart, he didn't necessarily have a great game. Jaylen Brown, he was solid, but not a great game. Honestly speaking, like I said, like they really didn't play well. Listen to Malcolm Brogdon. He said that they're a 3-point shooting team, right? So that's really what they rely on, because outside of that, nobody necessarily really stood out. I mean, not even Al Horford. I looked at what he did, last season, where he was like playing almost like Al Horford is one of those guys. Maybe he has to heat up down the stretch, because last season he was probably like third best player on their team. So, but he didn't really do a whole lot last night either. But I mean, they didn't really have a whole bunch of standouts outside of like Tatum for me.
Yeah, it's funny. We have Drummond. It was always the Al Horford, Tristan Thompson, Drummond's triangle that we were always kind of linked with all of those guys, and I think we got the best of those three now. Definitely the better of the Tristan deal. Okay, so before we get into it, a little bit further into the Bulls end. You missed this being live, or maybe you saw it live, but this was my favorite moment. It delivered a brand new meme for Bulls fans. It is the Dalen Terry dance and the evolution of therein. Here's how it started.
Tatum working on Caruso. On to Smart. Caruso knocked it away.
Oh, cookies.
Up ahead to Ayo Dosunmu.
Hey, that's a nice play by AC. AC got that steal. Look at Dalen Terry.
I definitely missed that. I didn't see that.
He's hyped.
That was straight for TV. That was TV.
I'll give it to you one more time, fans. Here we go. Come on, Wyse. Here we go.
Tatum working on Caruso. On to Smart. Caruso knocked it away.
Oh, cookies.
Up ahead to Ayo Dosunmu.
Hey, that's a nice play by AC. AC got that steal. Look at Dalen Terry.
Looking into the camera.
Like he's the road runner or something. I don't know what he was doing. He's creating a new running man.
All right. So so there's been all this going back and forth with Zach and all the rest of the guys. Let's take a look at the drama first, the bull crap drama that came about.
To not bring you back in crunch time. So as you said, give you a chance to shake out.
We didn't get to that. I think that was just his opinion on the game. I think he said the second unit or the other guys that he brought in, which they did a great job of coming back into the game. And it was a very winnable situation. I told him at the very least, bring me in for free throws. I think I could have helped at least seal the game with free throws to help get the ball in bounds. One of the best players on the floor, regardless who's playing. I think that should be on the court at crunch time, and that's just the mentality I have.
Zach, we're going to ask him this too, but do you feel
Don't ask anymore. Just shut up, everybody. It's over. This drama's over. It's over. And let's prove it. Billy talked after the Celtics win, and here's what he had to say about the performance of Zach LaVine.
Yeah, no, I felt that way. I think the guys really worked really, really hard. Obviously they're a hard team to guard. It's hard to, just expect one guy to stop one of their guys. There needs to be a lot of help. But I thought we were really active. I thought we covered for each other. I thought we really tried to help one another throughout the course of the game.
What about just single a little bit on Zach, because that's been a focal point and time to question mark this season. His activity also seems more pronounced.
Yeah, man, I thought he played a great game tonight. I've got an enormous amount of confidence in his offense and his ability to shoot the ball. He's done that his whole entire career. He's elite at it. That will, I think, come back as he continues to play. And again, we're doing some things different offensively that he's probably having to work through and get accustomed to. But like I said, I think after the game, there's a lot of things I think he can do to impact the game. Like, even though he got off, I think he missed his first 3 shots. It's probably not going to show up in the stat sheet, but he generated a lot of open shots for our guys. His unselfishness on the break early in that first quarter where he generated a lot of shots for Ayo. He got a couple guys corner threes, Patrick. He's unselfish from that standpoint. And, he didn't shoot the ball at the percentage rate that he normally does. But like I said, I'm not worried about it. I thought his fingerprints, so to speak, were all over the game in a lot of different ways. He still got 22 points tonight, but he did it defensively. He did it with his passing. He tried to get in there and rebound. he made good decisions. So I thought he did a lot of extremely positive things.
Bulls, what is up with this $10 microphone you're giving Billy Donovan at these press conferences? Like seriously, you're like a $6 billion franchise. Come on. So what do you think about
sound?
I think that Zach's back. I don't think there was any problem. He just had a couple off games. You agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily. It doesn't necessarily look like Zach LaVine is still having issues. I don't know. Sometimes guys just have nights off. But do you so you remember him? Well, obviously, you just played the clip. But thinking about how he said, but I didn't see him say the part where he said that Billy's going to have to live with it. Did he say that in that clip?
That was in the clip before it. So this was the next
one prior.
This was the next morning.
But it's just hilarious that he said that, because I was thinking, like, I mean, Zach, for the entirety of the game, dude, you had 4 points, like 2 assists. I mean, and Billy Donovan, he's such a nice guy. He's such a nice coach, because he's still defending him when he knows that Zach LaVine's game was subpar. I mean, it was horrible. Like, Zach
1 for 14,
very
4
horrible
points
out there. Exactly. And not that he should scorn the guy. He's this player, so you shouldn't necessarily come out and trash him or anything like that. But at the same time, you got to stand firm on what you do out there, and you don't necessarily have to appease players' feelings when you know that they aren't on. I mean, and that was the case for Zach LaVine, and I thought that he made the right move, snatching Zach out of that game, because guess what happened when he did? The Bulls got some energy, they got some life, and they came back into that game. So, I mean, I thought that Billy Donovan made the right move in doing so. And Zach LaVine saying that he should have been in there in crunch time. I mean, let's not forget, he isn't necessarily a great crunch time player either. Zach LaVine makes like a nice amount of mistakes in the clutch. I mean, he had our best clutch player out there in DeMar, and I mean, you can't win them all. Sadly, we haven't won any this season yet, but I think he had the best unit out there for that time being.
And quite honestly, if Vooch sinks a couple free throws, we're not even talking about
exactly. This. So that was on Vooch. I mean, and quite frankly, Vooch is a decent free throw shooter. He just missed them. I mean,
yeah, that's all. Okay, so it comes down to standards, and here's what Billy said about standards of the team.
Important, but with what you have coming up schedule-wise, how much did you need this one just to play well, not even to win, just to play better?
Yeah, I think for us, it's about playing to a certain standard. And again, we had some lapses in the game. I think our second unit has been so great for us all year long, and that third quarter stint was not great. We then got the lead back a little bit. I think there's some things that we could do, even with a little bit of a cushion, in terms of closing the game a little bit better with some turnovers and those kind of things. But I think I've said this before. I think the one thing you want to have, is a ceiling to be able to get better. And I think this group can continue to get better. Listen, when you're 6-10, you've dropped whatever is 4 or 5 games in a row. These guys are competitive guys, and they're prideful, and they work hard, and they want to win. But I always say that the winning is a result of all the things that you're doing habitually for 48 minutes. And in some cases, we haven't done that haven't done it well enough. And, I thought tonight, we were better. I still think there's things we can get better at. But I thought overall we really, I think, had like a next play mentality. And I think that it sometimes has impacted us, where it's been a missed shot or a turnover or something. And, we don't move on to the next thing. And I thought we were better.
Okay. I'll give you that, and that speaks for itself. There's really no commentary needed after that. I mean, he's the coach, and he's going to say exactly what he needs to say. So hopefully the Bulls will adopt that, because they got a lot of hard games coming up. All right, so then we saw the Dragon kind of break his wing a little bit. Dragic had a first quarter injury. He collided with Sam Hauser, and he ended up coming back in the game in the second quarter, but he only played 7 minutes and then really didn't come back. And here's what Billy said about Dragic's injury.
Update on Dragic.
I think he's got like a stinger. At least that's what he told me. You know, it's his neck where he got hit, and I think he had some numbness going down the back of his arm and into his elbow. You know, when he came back in, I just didn't think he looked right to me, and then that was totally my decision. I did not ask him. He, I think, would have continued to play, but I just, for whatever reason, I just didn't think he looked great out there, and I think he was definitely, in my opinion, balded by.
Okay, so it sounds like he's back. Regardless, it sounds like Dragic will be back, and just a smaller injury, nothing like a Justin Fields dislocated shoulder. It's seems manageable. I'm sorry.
Had to
Didn't
go
mean to
there.
Didn't mean to. Sorry. But props to Justin, and I hope he heals soon. It sounds like he will.
Most definitely.
But good news from Dragic. He's playing well, and I wish him nothing but the best on that. Here's the line score really of the game. It was just the Bulls kind of won it from the get-go, right? They had their foot on the gas the whole time. So give me the experience now before we move on. Give me your full 2022 Chicago Bulls fan in attendance experience rundown, man. Give me the whole thing.
Man, it's such a treat being at the United Center, man. I recorded a bit of it. You know, I mean, I've been to the United Center for quite some time now. I mean, just as far as going to Chicago Bulls game, but every time I go, it is such a treat, man. It is probably one of the best things that you can do in the city, if not the best, because I don't know, everybody is just so live. You feel electric when you're in there. You feel the energy of the place. It's just so beautiful, man. Not to mention like the halftime performances. Like there was this wheel gymnastics performance at halftime, and dude was just crazy. Like he really snapped with his performance. But even just some of the little local acts and stuff, like the Bucket Boys, they did their thing. I mean, so yeah, just all out crazy. Not to mention when your team is actually kicking ass and winning the game. Like everybody was out of their seats, or at least maybe I was the only one in my section out of my seat. But goddamn it, I almost made somebody spill their beer. I mean, I was standing up like 50% of the time. My wife was there with me, so she got me on camera, candy camera, quite a bit too. And you see, I'm like the only one standing up, just going crazy whenever DeMar would make a shot or something like that, or you had Javante. When Javante came out there, everybody was going nuts too. So yeah, man, it was just super crazy. And like I said, so I also had some Celtics fans behind me, like literally right behind me.
Ooh.
And they were trying to heckle DeMar. Like they were
where did you sit? What section did you sit in?
I was in section 2. I was
in
section 2, like right courtside. So beautiful seats, expensive but beautiful seats.
Yeah.
But they were calling him DeMar the Frozen, and it was funny.
What?
It was actually pretty funny because early on, and they were calling him this in like the first half. In the first half,
from the 200 seats, they were calling him this.
They were trying to call him DeMar the Frozen. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I guess because he was a little bit off in the first half, he really came on in the second. But yeah, I'm just turning around, looking at them. Really, like really. And it was all in fun and everything like that. But they were definitely looking like sad puppies come that second half because they couldn't stop the Bulls.
I almost clipped I'm loving doing this podcast with clips, by the way.
Yeah.
I almost clipped a Bulls a Celtics fan podcast that was doing a post-game show, and to see their looks was just incredible. They were like, oh my God, I can't believe we lost to the Bulls. Much like how we felt when we lost to Denver and other teams. Okay, so Dragic we covered. Do you think Patrick Williams is back from seeing Patrick Williams?
Coming off his little knick-knack injury,
yeah.
I mean, he looked beautiful yesterday. I can't lie to you. I mean, that move when he tapped Jason Tatum like off the dribble, that was sweet. That was really sweet. But not to mention how efficient he was from the field and from deep. Like he had 9 points, and I believe in like the first quarter. No, it wasn't the first quarter, but the first half he had his like 9 points, 9 of his 15, and yeah, he looked really sweet out there. He didn't miss a whole lot of shots. He played really solidly on the defensive end, and he was pretty much guarding Tatum the whole night. So
Look at this. Look at this, man. I've got I got this now.
What we got?
So this is the NBA put this together.
Mm-hmm.
And this is on this is NBA.com really up their game in terms of game stuff. So yeah, we can take a look right now just at Patrick Williams and see what he missed and made right here.
Look at that. That's what I'm talking about.
It's nice. And so you can throw in other people. You can throw in Javante. Like, here, let's look at Javante. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
I think we need to put him there. DeRozan, you can take a look at his stuff, and then you can go over to the other team. Blake Griffin, is he hurt? I forgot he even played.
No,
for
he's
Boston.
just trash, man. He's just trash.
Wow.
He's not hurt. He can't get on the floor.
Blake. So yeah, I love this. You can check out Zach's shot selection. What's with this, man? Smoking up close here. 3 shots and not liking that. But anyway, other cool things here. You can see that we pretty much we had the lead almost the entire game, which is great. Team comparisons, leading players. I love this. NBA, good job, guys.
Yeah, I dig it.
I love seeing
that 3-point percentage. Did you see the Bulls 3-point percentage? That's like 48%. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Okay. Next up, game predictions. All right.
Oh, wait,
so
I thought we were gonna do the state of the Bulls.
Oh well, that was Patrick Williams. You said he looked great.
No. I mean, overall.
Oh, you got another state of the Bulls. All right. Floor is yours, my man.
I mean, just overall, to touch on the team overall and where they are. I mean, thankfully they got this win yesterday. I thought it was very huge. They obviously needed it, but I also can't sit here and act as if what has transpired over the past, week, almost 2 week and a half. I mean, the Bulls have slumped. They are looking very uninspiring, man. And I mean, again, I'm not trying to like poo-poo them or anything like that, because yesterday's win was, they should pat themselves on the back for it. But again, I also had to be honest with myself about even yesterday's game. I mean, Boston, granted, they won, but Boston was open so much, and it just mirrored how they looked versus other teams that actually could knock down their 3-point shots. I mean, that perimeter defense is probably the worst in the league when it comes to the Chicago Bulls, because if a team is knocking down, if a team is high, if a team is filling it from deep, then the Chicago Bulls are going to allow them to shoot whatever they want, basically. Because, I mean, I don't see how they don't figure out, get to the open man every single time, get to the open man, and they just fail to do so. But not only that, I'm thinking about Zach LaVine too. I mean, that comment that he made about Billy Donovan the other day, I mean, I didn't necessarily like it, because it
now
feels
when I
like
heard it,
yeah.
When I heard it, I'm like, this reminds me of the Pippen, I don't want to take the last shot, take me out in reverse. You know what I mean? It's like, boy, you should have just shut up.
Exactly. Because I mean, dude, what are you saying? What would you have done? What? And
what would I have done?
No, I mean in Zach, right? I'm saying Zach LaVine himself, if he were the coach and his best player or his second best player was having that bad of a game, and we had another guy who was cooking. I mean, you have to go at the hot hand. Of course, Zach would probably be biased and say, I would have done it anyway, but dude, stop it. You know what I'm saying? Come on. But
Can I give you my opinion for you and I are gonna start our own consulting group now, the Marcus Wyse consulting sports agency company. And Zach, you can be our first client. Here's how you answer this thing. You say, you know what? It was a tough loss. I wish I was in a position that I could have been able to win that for us. Unfortunately, I had an off night, as you can tell by my horrendous shooting, and unable to defend the ball almost all game. But I'll get them next time.
Bam. That's it. So, show some humility. Show some humility. That's it, man.
Right.
You know what
I'll
I'm
get them
saying?
next
Like,
time.
you'll get them next time. Like, we know how prolific of a scorer you are, bro. But not to mention, I mean, dude, yeah, you've been in majority of the games that the Bulls have been losing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the proof is in the pudding, dude. I mean, come on,
Zach. Dude, here's what you need to do. Hold up your phone with the clip of you scoring like 15 points in 2 minutes at that Charlotte game like 2 years ago when you were playing with Ryan Arcidiacono and he got that miracle steal. Play that to the press and go, hey, remember this? That's me. That's me. You believe it? That's me. And I'm still on this team. I'm still here. I can still do that stuff and probably even better now. So have a little faith and I'll be back. So
yeah, that's probably what he wanted to say, right?
Yeah, Zach, that one's no charge, but the next time it'll cost you.
But all right, so overall, yes. Man, I don't. How are you feeling about this team overall? They're 6-10.
Mm-hmm.
Still,
like DeMar said, if you're going to go through this crap any time at the season, let's get it over with at the first quarter of the season.
Get it over with
and get back on track.
I'm all for that, and that's the leader in DeMar. I like that mentality. Yeah. I just like, again, I just don't know how much faith I have in them being able to be one of those teams who turn it around. Because when, like, I think about the Celtics and how badly they looked early on in the season last year, and how toward the back end of that year they were like on top of the league. Obviously, I mean, they made it to the championship, right? But if everybody can recall, early on last season, the Celtics were one of the worst teams. Like, the Bulls came back from a 14-point deficit and beat them by 14 points, all in the fourth quarter. That's how horrid the Boston Celtics were looking. And I'm just saying, I don't necessarily know if the Bulls have that next gear in them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't necessarily see us. I don't know. It sounds like everybody is hoping and waiting on Lonzo Ball to come back and save this team. But our three best players are out there. Our big three, our money is out there. You know what I'm saying? The guys that we're paying the most on this team is out there every single night, and they just lack cohesion. So, again, I'm not trying to just rain on the parade of the big win from yesterday, but at the same time, you have to pay attention to their trajectory. And it's not looking very well. It's not looking very good right now, because they're out of, if the playoffs started today, they're not even in the play-in. We're in the 11th spot right now. We're behind teams like the Wizards, the Pacers. I mean,
don't give Daniel Gafford ammo on Instagram. Come on.
Man, dude, it's insane. So, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully this is just a little bit of a slump, but I see them you know what? They're implementing a new offense where they are trying to move the ball around more and everything like that, and they're not trying to just say, here, DeMar, take us home, save us.
Well, I want to dispute that. But I want to dispute that, and I'll tell you why. Because all I saw yesterday was 4 guys standing around the perimeter and Vooch in the middle. And not moving, not cutting, nothing.
Right.
No, hardly any pick and roll yesterday whatsoever. It was crazy.
So it looked like they reverted back to that. But I'm saying, in like a lot of these games that they've been losing, it seems like they have been trying to, and I mean, you can just look at the stats. DeMar's stats are down just as far as his scoring this year. And
Right.
even his shots, some of his shots are a bit less than they were last season too. And I mean, I just see them trying to, incorporate some of the other players on the offensive end a little bit more than they did last year. And what I was about to say is, I think that they're about to choose a lane where it's like, all right,
Yeah.
we know that
Yeah.
we can't be bad this year. We do not have our pick. So there's no point in even trying to be bad this year. We can't tank, right? So we have to pivot at some point in time, and we don't want to get to the point where we're drowning before we figure out that we are. Like they have to figure out what they're going to do on the offensive end, because thank goodness they were just knocking down all of their triples yesterday. I mean, even DeMar DeRozan smacked 2 threes from the top of the key. Like, and that was an outlier in itself. I mean, that was crazy. But most of the time that we can't expect that. They shot 48% from deep. That's not the Bulls. Nowhere near. So
No.
I'm just saying, like, what can we expect from this team within the next 20 games, 20 some odd games? I mean, where are we going to be?
Well, I got some crazy media stuff to talk about here that, I don't know, Wyse. Let's go over this. This is entertaining, so I'm going to start doing this stuff. Let's go over the 3 trade targets for the Bulls to consider before the rumor mill picks up. That sounds to me like a desperate headline. So who we got here? They want us to get Jay Crowder. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Of course not.
Depends on who we get. Jacob Poeltl from the Spurs.
Would love it.
You wouldn't love it? I don't think so. I don't.
No, I said I would.
You would?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, he's balling, man. He's good.
Okay. Let's see what he's got.
He killed us in that game.
Yeah, here he is. What's he got here?
Right. That's versus us. That's what he was doing all night. All night. Jacob Poeltl. He was balling on.
Yeah. Okay. And then the last one is Miles Turner. Can we afford him?
My only that's why I was going. My only question is, what do the Bulls give up for these guys? I mean,
yeah.
But so it's like, again, the Bulls don't have any draft capital this year. I mean, and what are they really trying to go for this year too? Are we just trying to get into the playoffs? You know what I'm saying? Are we because looking at these 3 players, who is it? Miles Turner, Poeltl, and the first was
Poeltl. That's how you say it, Poeltl.
I don't know.
And Jay Crowder.
Right? All 3 of them very solid players, but I mean, are they going to push us over that hump? And I continue to go back to this, man. You talk about state of the Bulls. I'm pretty much where I was in the beginning of the season, man. And that is, what are we doing?
Yeah,
that is the
clock is
question
ticking.
that I have to keep asking, Bulls fans. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Because people look at me crazy when I say, like, we're at best right now, we're second round playoff team, second round exit playoff team. I mean,
not today, we're not.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, the only thing I got one thing.
I mean, that's fully healthy. If you ask me, that's fully healthy.
I think Patrick Williams is going to be more of a difference maker than Zach LaVine's off nights. I think Patrick Williams having consistency.
Also, you're becoming a believer.
Oh,
is that what you're saying?
Man, I got to.
P will. All right. No P won't tonight.
Not tonight. No, I haven't said that word one time tonight. I haven't said.
I noticed.
Patrick Williams. Okay. So,
respect on my name.
But here's the thing. I have to say to Patrick Williams, what are you waiting for? A permission? Ball out, dude.
We see it.
What are you waiting for? Come on, man. Be that guy.
And that is what I think they were banking on. They were banking on the growth of Patrick Williams. Also looking at how Ayo Dosunmu was playing too. I doubt they were banking on him. I think he was just a pleasant surprise. But
I
I
got no
really
beef
think
with
that
Ayo
they
whatsoever. None.
not at all. But I think they pushed all their chips in on this idea that Patrick Williams was really going to bloom into this special player. And they felt like they didn't necessarily need, I guess they didn't feel like they necessarily needed any other, first round draft picks or anything like that. Maybe that's why they gave him away. But
well, he spent the summer with DeMar, so he must have something if DeMar's going to spend time with him.
But my thing about them pulling that move, though, and banking on Patrick Williams so heavily was he didn't show you anything that resembled that he would be like a very special player. I mean, prior to them making that trade, Wendell Carter Jr. and the 2 first-round picks, right? I mean, usually when you make a move like that, it's because you see something really great in a player. Maybe they didn't necessarily ball out like an all-star, but they look like they're special. We have never seen
just overrated
Patrick
him.
Williams.
Like we gave him 93 2K rating out of the box.
We didn't.
No, we didn't.
The front office did. They overrated him severely. But again, right now, as you say, he's Patrick Williams. Put some respect on the man name after last night. I mean, what have you done for me lately? And lately, Patrick Williams looked really decent the last time we saw him. So, I mean, hopefully, like you said, hopefully he can build on this and he can put some things together to be more consistent with how he looked last night. He only missed 3 shots, man.
Yeah,
he only missed 3 shots out of what? He took 10. So that highly efficient, 70%.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get ready to shift this out of here. We're like 40 plus minutes here. Predictions. Let's go over the last predictions. I got 2 games on you over since last time. So now
what games are those?
The Nuggets game, you had a dub and it was a loss. So I gained one there. That made us tied. And then we predicted the Pelicans both as a win and failed miserably there. Orlando Magic, I predicted a loss, and you predicted
a W.
A dub, yes. So that made me now number 1 on top. And then Boston versus the Chicago Bulls yesterday, I predicted a win. And I described it almost perfectly that they would have this losing streak and then come back and beat Boston. And then you predicted a loss and they won. So I'm now ahead of you. So we'll see here with these games what it is that we actually think is going to happen. And I got some fancy screens here to provide some entertainment. So tomorrow, we actually did already predict this game, but I'm going to give you a chance to change your answer if you want to. Bulls at Bucks. Bulls versus Bucks.
Loss.
You predicted a loss, and so I will put the screen on. Loss. What do you think?
Yep.
Fancy graphics here. Okay, and so I also predict a loss there. And then we got Bulls versus OKC. Now I thought, are we going on a road trip? Do I have this wrong that we're in Chicago? We're on the road for a while, right?
I'm sorry, I don't have anything in front of me. Not sure.
Let's see. Hold on. Milwaukee, OKC. We are there. So we're on a road trip for a while. Okay. So Bulls in OKC Friday, November 25th, Black Friday. I think they're going to win that one. I think Billy does not want to give the OKC fans any opportunity to give them any slander. So I'm going
the way the Bulls are looking against these so-called lesser teams right now, it's hard for me to say, man. I swear to God.
Well, you have to say because you got to predict.
I'm just saying, I thought Orlando was easy peasy. I thought the Spurs was easy peasy, and they made me look foolish. But and Shea is balling right now. But I'm gonna say they get him. The Bulls
after that MJ on steroids number 3 comment. I'm not too big on the Shea train right now. So have you heard this yet?
No.
You'll hear it. Believe me, I don't need to.
Yeah, I'll look it up
this.
now.
Yeah, he says Mike's number 3 on the list behind Kobe and LeBron. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anyway, what do you got? L, Dub, what are you doing?
W.
Dub, okay. Then we got Bulls versus Jazz in Utah. This is the Lowry Markkanen revenge game. What do you think?
I'm going to go with W.
Me too. You know why? Lowry Markkanen, we know who you are. We know who you are inside.
There we go.
Know you. You can fool those Utah people. You cannot fool us. We know you. We know
he's going to come off. He's going to come off that high horse, man.
Yeah.
He does it in month.
Your mask is coming off.
Spurts. Yes. Every other month, man. Lord, it looks like he's going to be an all-star, but then it's like,
yeah, I saw those articles too. Lowry's like, oh, I think it's cool. My teammates think I'm an all-star. Yeah, well, nobody else does, so chill. Then we got Bulls versus the Phoenix Suns on Wednesday, the 30th. I'm going L.
Yeah, me too.
I think this road trip's going to get them. That'll be the 4th game in a row on the road trip, and I think everybody's going to be start to get tired. And I think L. So you think L also?
Yes.
And you're mirroring me here. I'm going to have to switch positions on something. Well, that's okay if we're the same because I'll still be in the lead, if we tie. So I'm good with that. Friday, December 2nd. We'll probably have another show, obviously, by this time, but we'll just go on record here. And I'll say a dub because the Warriors are up and down, and I think Zach's going to kill it.
Oh, you got the Bulls winning? Nah, I got the Warriors.
Why? Have you seen him play lately?
Yeah, I have, but for some reason the Bulls can't stop them.
Okay, well, we'll see.
I think I think that they're probably gonna get their turnaround game against the Bulls.
Okay, so I have them going 3-2, and you have them going 2-3, right? Over the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see how we do. All right. And with that said, my friend, I forgot to do all these cool graphics. Yeah, we all win and lose. Yeah. Okay. Insert your own, edit your own conclusion, and we'll be there. So, all right. Anything else you wanted to bring up? Talk about the floor is yours. Oops, I didn't predict that loss. Don't say that. Anything else you want to go over before we close it out?
Nah, man. Nothing other than I think I'm gonna put together like a video of me going to the game yesterday. For my next video on my channel. So people, y'all just look out for that. But that's all.
All right. And you can just search for Wyse Black on YouTube or just look at the description of this video wherever you happen to be watching it. And I'll make sure that I put that in the link. And let's get the official. So everything show related you can find at bullspodcast.com. I'm gonna work on a TikTok thing. I know we talked about that before, but I think it's coming. I think I figured a way to do this with putting some content on TikTok and shorts. And I specifically did some call outs like Zach Levine's agency call out. We'll take care of you next time, Zach, but you're going to be a short for this one. We're going to edit you into our clip, and away you go. It's going to be magic. Check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Bulls Podcast. At Bulls Podcast is where you can find us just about on every social network. Bulls, Wyse, where can they find you, my man?
Twitter and Instagram at @radical_creator. And also on YouTube, just as Marcus said, just type in Wyse Black, Y spelled WYSE, and just stay tuned for more Bulls content. Thank you.
All right, and you can find me at Marcus Couch on Twitter, Instagram, and everything else. And remember, all the post games after the game is over, flip it on the Windy City Breeze on YouTube, and you're going to hear me talking to fans. And if you want to call in and talk to me, you can. Tell me how full of crap I am. And Wyse, I hope you can make some of those too, man. It's
Most
be
definitely
great to
will.
get me, you, and Kidd on there talking to the fans live. I think that's going to be really something to see. So until then, appreciate you watching and tuning in and listening. Go Bulls.
Go Bulls.